It's Dr. Thunder. A good day. Things are developing well for you this morning. Ordinarily, right now, I'd have a premiering video. I've been trying to do the Tuesday, Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for my premiere conversations with Dr. Thunder videos. And today would have been Mr. 1950. And so anyhow, we ended up having to reschedule. And so he's going to be interviewed on, hi, Nicer, how you doing? He's now going to be, I'm going to interview him on October 20th, which means the 21st would be the premiere date for that video. Thanks for all the support, everybody. I really appreciate the growth. My channel's really growing. It seems like I hit a sort of stride. I think part of it has to do with the consistency of the live streams. I think doing more Thunder's Thoughts episodes, it seems like you all are into that, and also the conversations with Dr. Thunder recent as premiere videos. I also think that something that's been driving traffic to my channel is the hot lick videos, the shorts. And I've done some other shorts too. Like I've had some, I've got a Feats of Strength playlist. Something else that's been working well, and I appreciate those of you that are channel members. I encourage folks to become a member. That really helps. And there's 3 levels, although the 3rd level right now is not actually, you could pay to do the 3rd level yet, which is the doctoral. But there's a Bachelor of Music level, and that'll give you access to all the music stuff. And that includes all of the archived episodes of Lesson of the Week, which those are going to be only available for members pretty soon. I'm about to pull the trigger on that. So if you want access, then you're going to need to do that. So that's one. Another thing is, another thing is the master's degree level. That's where you'll get access to all the spicy content. So that's all the Thunder's Thoughts episodes and Blue Pill testimonials and all of that stuff. The doctoral level, what I'm about to do is, I have 8 CDs out. What I'm about to do is make all of them available for folks at the doctoral level. So I'll have like individual playlists for each project, and then I'll share that. So anyhow, that's coming. I had intended for that to already be done, but I got busy with a bunch of other stuff. So here's a few things that are happening right now. A lot of positive stuff. So tonight I've got Thunder's Thoughts at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and the topic is, will we ever prioritize black men and boys? And I'm going to be doing a Kevin Samuels clip. It's a clip from his Kevin Samuels is Gay video, but there's a clip in there which is really good. And he gets into that topic. And so I thought that would be a good one to break down. And of course, that'll be with Dr. Doug. So I'm looking forward to that. Then tomorrow morning on Bernard Riley's channel, I have assembled a panel to discuss should the church arrange marriages? Should the church arrange marriages? And it's my Black church panel. And joining us is Bianca Gibson. She's a TikToker. She's got, I don't know, 100,000 followers on TikTok, and she has followers on Instagram and things. And our interaction began when I was pretty terse with her in some comments. She was on a live with J.R. Wisdom, which I'm interviewing him in, I think, in November. And I was pretty terse because she was saying a lot of the stuff that the kind of typical talking points, which I have found to be easy to argue against. But anyhow, I had made a comment on one of her TikTok videos, and she said, "Hey, you were not very nice to me." So then on Instagram, we had in the DMs, we had a lengthy conversation back and forth with a lot of detail, and she was a good sport about it. So I think that her perspective would be interesting for Bernard's channel. She's totally, she's not a fan of, Kevin Samuel. She's not a fan of, the Manosphere. But she is aware of things, maybe has a little more awareness than most folks that make some of the arguments that she does. So, and she's heavily involved in church. And so I think that's interesting. But then also 2 pastors will be on that panel, Pastor Joel Brooks and also Reverend John Coates. And both of those guys are solid gold. Good morning, Blind Guy, his wife, their life. Good morning. Yeah. And then Cedric Easton, who participated on one of the panels I put together for O'Shea's channel, and then me and Bernard. So it's going to be a really nice, I think, a pretty well balanced kind of panel. So that's happening tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. on his channel. Then at noon, I have my Lessons with Dr. Thunder, and that's been going really well. Really been really digging into some interesting content. Basically, what I've been doing is going through some of my archived videos, the lesson of the week videos, and providing some commentary, slowing certain ideas down, and just kind of talking through them. And folks have been enjoying that. So, and I'm enjoying it. So that's great. So tune in for that. And then if you go over to Ohio State School of Music, the Ohio State School of Music YouTube channel, Ohio State School of Music YouTube channel, and I'm going to post it on my community tab. At 8 p.m. is going to be our big band concerts. We do a fall big band concert. That's going to be tomorrow at 8. My band is going to be, which is the jazz ensemble. I direct the top band. We're going to be doing a focus on. I'm focusing on the music of Black men, and it's easy to do that in jazz, and actually any. Black American music. It's very easy to do that because the creation of music has been dominated by men. And so there's been a lot of really critical figures. Last year we focused on Count Basie, so we did all Basie music, And this year we're focusing on John Clayton. Now, John Clayton, if you don't know who he is, if you go to my Conversations with Dr. Thunder series, you can see I interviewed him. Um, heavy dude, great arranger, composer, great bass player. Now, John actually played with the Basie band, and his writing has been very much influenced by that Basie style of writing. You know, everything swings, everything has that grease. You know, totally been soaking in. You know, Black America. You know, it's got all of that indigenous. You know, it's got all of that stuff. So, but that's going to be really heavy. So our concert is all John Clayton music. Now we've got a couple guest soloists. One of them is Dr. Robert Brooks, who he's a new member of the jazz faculty, and then also a returning member of the School of Music faculty, but now a member of the jazz faculty, Dr. Milton Ruffin. And he's a great bass player. He directs our gospel choir, but he's also he's the bass professor, applied the jazz bass professor. So they're being featured on the concert. So that's going to be really killing. So that's Friday. Saturday morning, I'm interviewing Donovan Sharp and Devin Sharp for my Conversations with Dr. Thunder series. That video will premiere on Sunday at 10. And then on October 4th, which I think is Monday, that's when I'm interviewing Minister Japp. So that one will premiere on Tuesday. And then I have Paul Elam on Wednesday, which means that Thursday, that video. So a bunch of really heavy stuff is happening. I've been, chomping at the bit for all three of those interviews. This is going to be really interesting with Donovan and Devin, because to my knowledge, he's not done a collaboration like that on someone else's channel. And the kind of stuff that I'm going to talk to them about, just kind of relationship stuff, because, he's a red pill guy, but he's in a long-term relationship, right? And it's really worked out, and is working. And I think he has some interesting philosophies on how to make it work. Oh, thank you, blind guy. Thank you. Now, Paul Elam, if you've seen the Red Pill movie, he's prominently featured in that movie. And he's a men's rights activist. And he has an interesting backstory, kind of his red pilling, so to speak. And he's got a really big channel on YouTube. He's been tremendously influential. Mumia Obsidian Ali, he frequently talks about Paul Elam, and an ear for men and a voice for men. So going to be interesting, conversations. I'll tell you, what my channel is about bringing different kinds of folks together. It's about bringing different kind of folks together, different, angles, different opinions. It's not just one thing. It's not just musicians. My Conversations series has been dominated by musicians, because that's where I'm most heavily networked. However, it's been all kinds of folks, and I think that's made it very interesting. Let's see here. Yeah. Thank you for that, blind guy. They say, seriously, your guests bring really great perspectives, and we exceptionally talented and are exceptionally talented in business skill or both. Yeah. Um, and I've been, fortunate to have some really, really great collaborators. The show tonight, Dr. Doug, you know, Dr. Doug and I have been best friends since we met in, graduate school. He's a heavy dude. Um, and and even my collaborations with TK. Yeah. Okay. The welcome, Demetrius Knowles. Let's see here. You said that the interview with Donovan and Devin should be quite informative as well as interesting. Big ups, Dr. Thunder, on your diversity with collabs. Yeah, thank you. I mean, that really keeps it interesting. I think it's about uh, not just the same old, not just doing the same stuff that you already know, but involving other kind of folks, other perspectives. Um, I mean, I've had folks that I mean, they've said a lot of stuff that that I don't agree with, and I don't know that I've ever had someone on that I agreed with everything that they were saying anyway. I'm generous in these interviews because they're more conversational. They're not intended to be, I'm not trying to put people on the spot. But if I have a different perspective on something, I'll share that. The last interview I did was with Ramil Amir. And that was a long time coming. And and speaking of Ramil, we have a new show. Ike, Ramil, me, Chantel Simone, and it's on Solo's channel. So Solo's part of the panel, called Case Closed. And that's going to be this coming Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be talking about R. Kelly, the R. Kelly case. So yeah, it's coming. And that show, that we did the first episode of that this past Sunday, and that went really well. So we had, especially for the first show, we had a lot of live viewers. So I was really happy with that. And Solo was most gracious to accommodate the show. So it's gonna be happening. So yeah, so I just wanted to get on here because, yeah, he did get it bad. R. Kelly did get it bad. I'll tell you, I saw O'Shea did a celebrity junk where he was talking about Jada Pinkett Smith, and how when one of the guys from Crisscross would have been like 14 and she was like 22, apparently they had some sort of relationship, and nobody's coming after Jada Pinkett Smith over that. I'll tell you, one of the differences, the big difference, is that documentary. Ramil did a stream. Was that earlier this? Yeah, it was this week. It was on Wednesday. He did a stream. No, it wasn't on Wednesday. It was on Tuesday. He did a stream on the R. Kelly thing, and he was bringing up the thing like, look, you cats that are celebrating because R. Kelly is getting locked up, you need to understand that, that could happen to, I mean, now granted, R. Kelly was doing some grimy stuff. Don't get it twisted. And my perspective on all of this stuff is that you have to live in a way that is above reproach, so that folks can't just come and get you anytime they want to, because they can they can go in, especially if you say anything spicy. If you're saying stuff spicy, then they're really going to try to come get you. And so you need to be living in such a way that doesn't have like a lot of risky stuff. You know, um, I'm not, other than gigs and stuff that I do, I'm not out late. Um, I have a certain sort of rapport on campus. That whole open door policy. Now, when I say open door policy, that actually implies something else. That means that, you're always available to talk. But but I'm also saying, if you have female students, and now even with some of the the male students, you should leave your door open. I mean, you have to be, you got to be careful. But so I'm a fan of living in such a way that doesn't call attention, to what you're doing. And the fact that they wanted to do this documentary film on R. Kelly, that's the problem. So he's probably doing some stuff he didn't need to be doing, and or at least calling attention to himself in a way that was a little bit too, it was a little bit too much. Okay. But that being said, there's a bunch of goofy stuff about that case. And if they can get a cat bending the rules and doing all that kind of stuff, all of us should be concerned. Black men should be concerned when another black man is railroaded. And that's why when Bill Cosby was exonerated, that's why when he was exonerated, that was a good thing. It wasn't a good thing, because, I or others are condoning the stuff that he was doing, because I would argue that you shouldn't be doing any of that stuff anyway. Right? That ain't the thing. The point is, if if they can railroad, folks that have resources like R. Kelly and like R. Kelly and who am I talking about? Bill Cosby. Oh my goodness. Like R. Kelly and Bill Cosby. If they can railroad folks that have resources like that, what do you think they can do to you? What do you think they can do to me? See, that's why it's important. Yeah. So anyhow, thanks for getting on with me. I appreciate the support. Like the video. Please like the video. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you. I see that additional like that just popped up. Appreciate that. Thank you for doing that. Like, share, subscribe, and I'm going to keep it interesting. There's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of positive stuff, and we're moving closer and closer to part of my vision and mission for my channel and for the kind of content that I do, and that is to bring folks together from different disciplines, have meaningful conversations, even if, and maybe specifically because they are outside of the Overton window, outside of this sort of PC frame, but important conversations to have in bringing people together that think differently, to have meaningful conversations. And of course, a celebration of music and art. Those are the things that my content specializes in, is meaningful conversation, spicy at times, but meaningful conversation and world-class music. And in particular, we're talking about Black American music. Bam. Shout out to Nicholas Payton. If you want to know who that is, check out my Conversations with Dr. Thunder series. Check that out. I interviewed him. That was a really great conversation. It was a really great conversation. He's the sort of founder of the Black American music movement. If you see hashtag BAM, that's who we're talking about. Heavy dude, great musician, and a thought leader of sorts, especially with respect to that whole Black American music thing. And some of these programs around the country, I think, have been these jazz studies programs around the country have been influenced by him, to sort of reconsider the sort of branding of the music that we call jazz, because the term jazz has actually not served us. It's not served us at all. If you look at the etymology of the word, there's a lot of negative things. Used to be spelled JASS, jive ass music, anything to belittle the output of Black men, to make it seem like we're not serious, we're not serious minded, that we're not capable, anything to try to make it seem that way. And that stuff is rampant in the academy, in the conservatory model that tends to prop up the European classical tradition. Of course, it was designed for that, to its defense, but it's been sort of been forced to accommodate, if you can call it that, jazz. But all of those sort of stereotypes and things are alive and well. And they're things that, even if they're not overt, sometimes the things that are not overt are the things that are the most challenging to defend yourself against, because you don't know who's thinking what, and what their motivations are. I mean, after a while, you start to see what's happening, and then you kind of understand what's going on. But honestly, one of the reasons that I'm a fan of free speech, and I want to, as much as possible, take off a lot of the what's the word, the taboo, take away a lot of the taboo of saying certain things in public, is because I want people to be able to indict themselves. I want people to, because they feel free to say what they want to, I want them to tell me that they're racist, to tell me what their motivations are, to tell me, what their biases are, because then I'll know that's not a person I want to align with. One of the unfortunate byproducts of the whole PC thing is that you still have a lot of people that have the same views. They still have the same views. They just don't talk about it. So it's almost like we've taught them to become clever about their stuff, right? And I would rather them be open. I'd rather them be super open about about their biases. So then that tells me I cannot rely on this person. I need to not interact with them. Only interact with them professionally. I need to not be telling them, anything personal, because they'll find a way to use it against me. All of that kind of stuff. In some conservatories, some schools of music, and actually some institutions just of higher learning, some universities, the tenure process, for instance, it requires that people have to identify if they're a yes or a no vote for a tenure decision. If you don't know anything about the tenure process, basically what happens is the other folks that have already achieved tenure, they vote on new candidates to become part of the tenure club. So if you're hired on a tenure track, that's then you have to go through a process of proving yourself. And then now for some institutions that process can go on for longer, but at the institution I'm at, it's up or out, and there's a certain amount of time that you have to make your case, and then they vote on it. Now, at the institution I'm at, it's a anonymous vote. So people could be voting yes, they could be voting no, and they don't have to provide justification for why they say no. They can just say no. All right. Now, they're supposed to not vote no unless they have a real reason. But something that I have seen, having achieved the tenure and then voting on other cases, is frequently in the discussion, there is no, it seems like it's going to be a slam dunk. Nobody objects, but then when they do the vote, they report what the tally was, and there'll be like a couple folks, a few folks that'll know, but they don't have to identify themselves, and they don't have to provide a justification. Okay, now I don't know. I guess you could argue that maybe there's some positives to doing it that way, but in my mind, especially if your goal is to root out bias, that's something you got to do away with. I want to know what folks, were voting. I want to know that. Now, maybe not the person that's going up for tenure. Maybe they don't need to know that. But the other people that are sitting around the table, they should know what the other folks actually, in their heart of hearts, the kind of things that they're going to pose, their kind of issues that they're going to say. And I'll tell you, frankly, in many cases, I suspect that if they had to justify why they're voting no, if they had to justify, they wouldn't say no. They would just say yes. Okay, and maybe in one sense, maybe that's why, the anonymous vote. But on the other side, like I said, if your goal is to root out bias, then folks should have to identify themselves and should have to provide a specific reason why they're saying no. And then the other folks in the room can be like, well, you still have the right to say no, and we're still going to count it as a no. But now I know what kind of arguments you make. Hey, Snuggles, what's happening? So yes, I appreciate the support, everybody. You can throw some change in there if you want to, in the super chat, if you'd like. I'm good with that. Also, you can do Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. All of those are Dr. Thunder Music, all one word. Spell out the word Dr. Thunder Music. If you'd like to support the channel. Also, like I said, please consider becoming a member, because membership has its privileges. All right, everybody. Thank you for coming and checking me out. And I've got like I said, I've got an interview with Donovan and Devin on Saturday. That should premiere on Sunday. Also, I got, I've got more reliable computer running the show now. There's a spanking new computer. It's going to be I was having some issues in the past, but all of that stuff is past. So let's go. See ya. All right. Thank you, Snuggles. Bye.